Funny story. I was just on my way back to the bar to get some fish and chips myself. So I don't know if this could be me putting in my order now.
Might as well.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. This is like my first reading in Philadelphia. So a little bit of background about me, like as a writer. I've been like a writing student since the 6th grade. So I'm kind of like madly in love with the craft somehow. I've always considered myself more of a poet. And yeah, so I have a couple of poems. This one, which is in the magazine, it was basically like a poem I wrote my senior year. And I just wanted to find a different vehicle to like write about like things that were on my mind. So of course, like I was thinking about like depression, I was thinking about generational trauma, I was thinking about slavery, and then I thought about the ocean. And of course, like I feel like in folklore and like old traditions that the Atlantic Ocean specifically is characterized, you know, as a feminine entity, you know, like a goddess. And so imagine over centuries and centuries of disrespect and like just plain wrong that has been like kind of perpetuated against the Atlantic Ocean. Eventually, like you'll feel her wrath. I feel like if you've been watching the news lately, you'll see all the hurricanes that have been hitting, like Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, like just all of these different places like on the coast. And I personally feel like the wrong people are suffering her wrath right now. It's really funny like how I wrote this like a couple years ago, and now like this is the first time that it's being published like right now. So I'm gonna get to the actual poem because I talked a lot. This is called Out of the Atlantic Ethiopian Ocean. Do not confuse my silence for consent. You see, this wait has gone on for centuries, maybe eons. Time tends to blend itself up when you get this old. I've been listening for a while. I've been listening for a long time. It's been a long time since the Creator last troubled me. I've been troubled for centuries, maybe eons. Found my movements to be slow, learned to speak low, focus on stomaching tongues that cannot taste salt. Felt my seaweed stutter screams, stutter screams, stutter screams from lips that were once dusted in gold, now cut by the rusty horse's bit. From sun-bathed bodies stacked inside ships, dragging across me like the last breath to escape splintered ribs. You see, they started by sinking into me, drifting, arms that stretched into centuries, maybe eons of spiritual wealth, because charity lives in circles, in movement that bows black backs to the bounty of life, in black wombs that grew wide from carrying basket weavers and warriors, and black women whose laughter lingered from carrying divinity, and black men whose mouths grew full from carrying stories. I've been listening for a while. My currents cannot carry all the corpses you cast into me, all the languages you cast into me. I've collected all the corpses you cast out, all the blood-crusted bodies you cast into me. I've been listening to the drowning babies with brown bellies swollen by my seas. I've been listening to the wailing of mothers, their breaths hanging with milk that will never mix with their child's first breath. I've been listening. I've been listening for centuries, maybe eons. I know my body will never sleep. I know my body will never swallow. I've been listening to the bones seeking further and further into the floor, further into me. I've been listening to funeral songs that have caused the taste of my own salt to repulse me. I've been listening to you, who longs to live like mountains, to you, who is arrogant enough to attempt to eliminate your roots, to you, who has fallen so far past the point of inhumanity. I've been listening. I've been listening because when the Creator calls on me, there will be no more titans to protect you. There will be no more soil sick enough to soak up your blood. There will be no more empathy for you to exploit. When He calls on me, my vengeance will consume you. till you beg for the right to take your last breath. Thank you. All right, so this next one, this is just called Mosaic Self-Portrait, about like glass art, stained glass art, about like how much I love that aesthetic. I know, it's aesthetic, it's a very obnoxious word, but whatever. Let the tawny pigment on my arms, face and calves consist of Goya bottles, with the ginger beer label folded into a lotus over my navel. Recreate me as one of Jacob's relics if you want to remember something delicate that came from the worst time to survive and decided to live instead. Boil the green beer bottles in generic bleach and half-baked flames to make them yellow. Let it be the layer beneath the Goya flecks. Dress me with the blue pieces of a pineapple pinnacle bottle, then weave my locks into a cascading crown made of Crown Royale. Make my cheekbones bubble up and shine them with jars that once contained unfiltered honey. Make my eyes real glassy the way they get around allergy season. Construct me out of the pieces that once cut. Cast out on the corner, barely missing the can. Colored bits to be dispersed against the resistance of concrete. All right. Yeah, so I guess like the theme of this issue was resistance, and somehow like the poems I chose like somehow have to do with resistance. So you're probably gonna get tired of hearing the word resistance or resist, and that's okay, you know, it happens. This one is called To the White Moderate. This is maybe a poem that might get me run out of this bar. I hope that doesn't happen.
Not this town.
Got your back, sister.
Thank you.
Not this town.
Yeah, because, yeah, I mean, it's just about like my frustration with like liberals, especially in times like this, like when like you see someone punching Nazi and they kind of go like, oh no, we need to have a conversation with them. And it's like, it's so weird. It's like, I don't care about like I don't care about like what white supremacists have to say.
Right.
Because like I already know that they don't care about my being. So here we go. This is called To the White Moderate. This resistance did not begin November 9th. I would give an arm and a leg for a day where my feet weren't squared on the line, where my body wasn't martyred for false tremors, where my skin wasn't the broken mirror that absorbed rather than reflected the light. Back to riot masks, back to bats, back to tear gas. I hope that we succeed. Perhaps we will succeed. In this moment of a movement, I can only recall the rubber bullet's whiteness reserved for me. If you remember to say my name, let it claw at overconsumption. Let retweeting, reposting, recycling, redundant fingers rot like centuries of debt. Let the tongues of fraudulent allies grow numb and drop out their mouths for dropping black names in vain. Let their egos dry out like these bodies did, like our bodies did, like black bodies did. Whiteness likes how our bodies did contribute to cheap chances of cheating pool. Whiteness likes how our bodies did build billions of blocks. Whiteness likes how our bodies did sustain, service, sex up, and satisfy. Whiteness likes how our bodies did everything in parts to consume. Whiteness likes how our bodies did, but hated how our bodies fought. All right. This last poem is a collection of tanka, which is how you know, like haiku, it's like the syllables are like 5-7-5. This is 5-7-5-7-7. And this is actually going to be published in a collection called These Black Midwives, Black Women's Voices on Tenderness. I was told it was supposed to come out in August, but it is now September. But it'll be coming out soon, and it's going to be amazing. Like just art, writing, and like work from black women all over the world. So
A press.
what press? It's independently published. So, if you want to hear more about it, I would encourage you to follow me on Instagram under Mantis Rights, like at Mantis Rights, like a praying mantis. Yeah, that's like kind of like the pen name I'm starting to embrace. Yeah, so this is called At Odds. It's really a bunch of pretty images about things that I felt were tender. All right. 1. In blasts of laughter, I have learned how to love hard. My heart vibrating through my teeth, tasting our joy, listening to shackles drop. 2. You're the shadow of a kiss on my cheekbones curve. You're dressed in the night, shedding lunar, borrowed heat. You disappear like my breath. 3. In daylight, the wind funnels gold leaves through my path. In the sun's absence, submerged by streetlight floods, the leaves transform into ice. 4. Tiger's blood pulses beneath the skin of my palms. I'm cupping pallid pieces of petals, the curves of my fingers mid-beckon. 5. Gift me with a room that sings like Kusama's art, covered with pink lungs, breathing wild like a chorus of blooming carnations. 6. Behold, another breath wasted on white lace that's budding beneath beams of streetlights where cities take long blinks barely before dawn. All right, thank you.